All right, everyone, welcome to this live session, Upgrade Your Production Workflow in 2023. Think we still got some people joining at the moment, but we're going to go ahead and just get right into it. So the goal of today's session is really to have a little bit of annual planning, look at the year ahead and understand how we can build systems, infrastructure, and really an assembly line to automate as many processes as possible and create the most value for our company at the end of the day. So I'm going to go ahead and jump in, start taking you through, and excited to dive in. So first of all, let's talk about what we're going to cover today. We're really going to focus on two key components. Number one is internal process automation. And this is really the foundation. This is building that infrastructure within your company, building that assembly line pipeline that enables your company to run almost on autopilot. And it really is the most important first step to building process automation. And it's going to enable you to work faster, uh, create more profit, and have a more efficient and valuable business overall. From there, we're going to talk about external process automation. And this is where it gets a little bit exciting because this is where we get to bring those external stakeholders into the process that we've built. Those can be clients, they can be partners, freelancers, whoever that may be. We can enable them to experience this beautiful process that we've created and have an amazing client experience or whoever that external stakeholder may be. Finally, at the end, we have a special offer for you, so please stick around. Special offer specifically for the attendees of this webinar, and then we'll wrap it up with Q&A. So let's go ahead and jump in and talk about internal process automation. So I love this photo here because this is really what we want to build. We want to build an assembly line that creates an automated process that can bring our creative ideas to life. We are creative agencies, creative production companies, creative teams, and creativity is a messy process. If you're a producer, you know that production people are some of the most efficient, organized, most reliable people out there, especially when you think of production crews and the producers that make these things happen. However, we work with creatives and we are creatives ourselves, and the creative process tends to be messy. If you don't have a system in place, a pipeline, a workflow that you can rely upon, any sort of process you may be trying to utilize quickly goes out the window as soon as the creative process begins. And I'm sure many of you may be familiar with that. So what we want to do now at the beginning of the year, before things start to get crazy, before we're so busy, we can't even think, right now, we want to build those internal processes and create a production pipeline that can bring these ideas to life efficiently. So let's talk about quickly some of the benefits of process automation. Number one is obvious, but save time and money. But the way this really works is that you are enabling your team to work faster because you've built automated processes so that they can spend less time on setup, less time on the mundane, everyday tasks that really slow us down. And they can instead focus their energy on what's really important, those 80-20 types of activities that you really want them focusing on: delivering great client experience, creating incredible work, generating the highest profits possible. So let's focus on automating the mundane, automatable tasks, and then therefore saving time and money, increasing our profit margin, and increasing the profitability of our business. Number two is you're going to be able to achieve visibility. So if you're an executive producer, maybe you're working with a few other producers and everybody kind of has their own way of doing things, you know how quickly things can spiral out of control and how quickly you can lose visibility into what's going on with the various productions that you're managing. And really the only way to understand where every project stands is to sit down and have a face-to-face, whether that's a production meeting or a phone call or whatever it may be. And ultimately, that just wastes your producer's time, it wastes your team's time, and it costs you money. So if you've installed a production pipeline and workflow that everybody knows and everybody utilizes, you have unlimited visibility at every moment in time to look into your production pipeline and see exactly where everything stands. Third is it's going to help you increase recurring revenue. And what I mean by that is that when you have a process in place and a system that everybody follows, you can deliver an incredible experience, which we'll get into here shortly for those clients. And when those clients can sense that you have a process, you are a professional company that is extremely buttoned up, you are going to deliver a process that they remember, and it's going to keep them coming back again and again, creating that recurring revenue. And ultimately, that will increase your company value, whether you are the business owner on this live stream or whether you are an employee. You all want the company that you work for to increase in value, to increase in resources, and become more successful. And increasing recurring revenue is one of the best ways you can do that. Recurring revenue is much more valuable to a business than project-based one-off type of revenue. So this is really ultimately what we're shooting for with process automation. So let's talk about the key components of process automation. Number one is workflows, and this is really the most important of all of them. Workflows are the foundational structure that you are going to start with to begin building out your process automation. So let's go ahead and jump into Assemble, and I'm going to show you a little bit of how you can create these workflows in Assemble. If you're familiar with Assemble, this will all be very familiar to you, but anybody who's new, I'm going to quickly show you a few key features within the product. So on your project dashboard, you have all the various projects you're working on. If you click into a project, each project has its own dedicated project calendar. And this is really where building that workflow is going to happen. So if we jump into the calendar, you're going to see this is going to come both in your traditional month view and also a timeline Gantt style view, which I personally prefer. You can customize these phases and just visualize your entire project coming to life throughout all those phases. Now, you can add tasks on the calendar and assign them to your team, basically just letting everybody know what the steps are to bring that production to life. But then you can also add a few more things. You can add milestones. So these are going to be those key milestones, those key mile markers, things like shoot, things like lock, edit. You can add any sort of milestone that you want to just have those mile markers throughout the process. And then finally, if we jump into an actual task itself, you're going to see that within the tasks, you have checklists. And these are essentially subtasks that can really get into the nitty gritty. And these are really where a lot of the value comes within these workflows, because you can really build out those checklists that you want to make sure happen every single time. So this is really building out processes, important things like making sure contracts are signed, releases are signed, the way that you transcode media, the way that you archive media, any number of different steps that happen throughout that process. You can really transcode into your documentation here, into your workflow, so that your team always knows exactly every step that needs to get done. And what you're doing here is you're essentially building organizational shared knowledge throughout your entire team that can be used over and over again. So once we've built out our first calendar here, which is essentially our first workflow, we now have a product, essentially a knowledge product within our company that can be reused and can be scaled across many projects moving forward. And the way that you do that is once this is built out, let's go ahead and back out here. And up here at the top of the project, you can just go ahead and save that as a template. So let's go ahead and create a new template here. Let's just say this is our commercial template. You can add a description. And as you can see here, we can save the calendar and tasks. So I'm going to go ahead and just save that template. And we have now created our own template that can be scaled to an unlimited amount of projects. So in the future, let's say we win a new job, we're shooting another commercial. We simply come here into our templates, go ahead, find that commercial template, and quick preview. Let's go ahead and use this template. Let's say that this time around, we are going to be shooting a commercial for Nike. We'll go ahead and upload a logo here. And then all you're going to do is just simply select a start date. And that start date, once you select a start date, it's going to auto build your entire workflow from that start date. As you can see, it's even going to give you an estimated end date here. Click Start New Project. It's going to build out your entire workflow. Go ahead and click Next. Invite your team. Click Done. And within about 5 seconds, we've built out an entire project from scratch. So if we jump into our calendar now, we can see that because we set that start date on January 23rd, it went ahead and built out our entire workflow from that start date. So all of our tasks, all of our milestones, if we go into a task, all of our subtasks, checklists, Everything is built automatically in about 5 seconds, just saving your team so much time, but also giving you that quality control to ensure that every step that needs to happen does happen throughout the process. So let's talk about the next level of automation, which is documentation. And this is really the most powerful part of process automation. When you're trying to automate your business and to make your business more scalable so that you can grow faster, the most important thing is to get your business out of your head. As entrepreneurs, when we're first starting companies, or producers that are running our own process, we tend to keep everything inside our heads. The problem with that is that it's not scalable. You yourself are not scalable. You only have so many hours in the day. Documentation is a powerful tool to begin getting those processes out of your collective heads, getting them into a company-wide knowledge base, and enabling you to scale, bring on new teammates, and grow the business more rapidly. So how do you do that within Assemble? So let's go ahead and jump back into our original project here. And we're going to show you exactly how documentation works. So for those of you that are new to Assemble, within Assemble, you can add phases, which are essentially top-level folders for your project to upload any sort of files and assets. But that's beyond the scope of this webinar. We're going to focus on the documents. So within any of these phases, whatever it is, you can come in here and click Add Document. Let's go ahead and start with the blank document. And from here, we can just start creating a document. So let's say we're going to build out our production process. Go ahead and start typing in here. Let's say, we'll start with the pre-pro. You can highlight text and use any sort of formatting you want. And I'm just going to build out a quick generic document. But as you can see, this is a way for you and your team to begin putting your processes into place where it's shareable and your entire team can begin accessing. Now, you can create documents for things like production process. You could create client-facing documents, things like creative briefs, maybe to gather information from the client, any sort of checklists you need to do, maybe post-production checklist, how you're going to capture and conform, how you manage the steps of post-production. Any of this can be created within Assemble based on the phase that it needs to be in. Now, let's say you've spent this time creating this documentation. What do you do with it now? You don't want to have to recreate this on every single project, right? Well, within a document, if you've got a new document that you want to save, just come up here and save as template. So let's go ahead and save this document as a template. Continue, production process. Let's go ahead and save that. That has now been saved to our company document template database. So now anyone within our company can access these templates on any project. So the next time I'm on a project, and maybe I want to open up and add a document, I just come here into documents, click templates. And as you can see, I've got this production process template that I can drop into any project. So once again, just enabling you to create that shared knowledge database and those shared document templates that can be used across any project, whether it's processes, client-facing documents, checklists, anything that you want to automate throughout your system. Now, let's say you don't want to have to go in and add documents to every single phase, right? We open up a project template, but we don't want to have to go in. Maybe we have 10, 20 different documents throughout this entire process, and we don't want to have to go and add each individual template in. You can take it a step further with Assemble. And so what you're able to do is come up here, once again, to the project template, and let's go ahead and save this template. When you save this template, you see the option here for folders and document templates. This enables you to save your entire folder structure that you've built out. And then you have the option to also save all of the document templates within that template, enabling you to truly just automate that workflow from start to finish. So we already saved document templates into that last template that we built out. So let's just go ahead and pop open this commercial. And you're going to see that any of those document templates that were previously in here before we began, the project brief, the post-production checklist, those are all already in that template. So as soon as you open it, every single step of that project, the documentation, the workflow exists within that template. All right, so let's talk about the last step here, and this is building your menu. I like to think of creative agencies and production companies as a 5-star restaurant where a client books a table, becomes a client on your roster, and you're delivering them this amazing experience. But to further automate, you really want to have a menu. Whatever these types of projects are that you work on, maybe some of you are doing more commercial, more documentary, more TV, more entertainment marketing. But I'm sure that all of you have a general type of project or types of projects that you're traditionally working on. And this is where you can really build your menu and automate that process further. So if we go into Assemble and click on our templates, I'm sure you notice we have a few different templates here. And these are once again that menu so that you can have those different templates ready to go. So when you're talking with the client, you can begin to understand where they're going to fit on your menu. When that project kicks off, come in here, choose the template that's right. Within 5 seconds, you're up and running, saving yourself hours or even days of setup for you and your team. However, of course, it's important to maintain flexibility. I'm sure some of you are thinking no project is ever the same. There's no way I could create one template that will work for every single project that I do. And that's absolutely right. And that's why these templates are fully customizable. So once again, if we jump into that template that we created in the past, if you go into your calendar here, you're going to see that this is fully customizable. So you can move tasks, you can add new tasks, you can change anything that you need to change about this calendar. Additionally, you can add new phases. You can reorganize phases, shift things around, add new subfolders. So you can really build upon the templates once the project starts and customize it to your needs. Our recommendation is to build base level templates that just include the tasks that you know for sure you are going to need to accomplish throughout that process, and then leave room to add additional tasks and customize as needed. Basically, you're going to get yourself 85% of the way there with the template. Go in and customize that last 20% and very quickly have your project customized, ready to go for your client. And then the last note on this is constantly improve. Process documentation and process automation is not a one-time event. You need to be constantly improving, constantly updating your processes, and getting better as an organization, becoming more efficient and better at what you do. Assemble makes that incredibly easy because you can continually update these templates as they get better. Let's say, for instance, you're working through a project as we have here, and maybe at the end of the project, you decide to add a task for archival. And you've got a great new process for archival. Maybe you have a new archival system. You want to put the exact steps in here and let everybody know, hey, this is how we're archiving projects moving forward. Well, this process has just been improved, and you should share that with the rest of your company. And on any projects moving forward, you should be utilizing that improved process. So it's very simple to do that. Just come up here, once again, save as template. But this time we're going to override existing, find that commercial, continue, and just click save. And just like that, our template has now been updated. So it enables you to just be continually improving, continually updating those processes and getting better as an organization as you grow. So some of the benefits of internal process automation, number one, eliminate human error. I like to think that when a human makes a mistake, it's not the human's fault. It is a gap in the process. And anytime a mistake is made, it is an opportunity to improve your processes. So take that mistake and understand how can we implement this into our processes, whether it's the workflows, the documentation, whatever that may be, to ensure that no future teammates make that mistake. Update your workflows, and now you have once again improved your organizational knowledge. 2, onboard and train new employees fast. So if you're bringing on a new employee into your company and they can access these workflows with step-by-step guides, checklists, documentation of everything that needs to get done, they have so much more confidence being a new employee and just seeing exactly the way that your company likes to work. They can almost train themselves, and you can really focus on training them on the things that are important, such as the way they represent your company. And finally, increase the value of your company. By having internal process automation, documentation, it's going to make your company more valuable. If somebody were to assess the value of your company externally and they look under the hood and see that you have a assembly line that almost runs itself, it makes your company much more valuable and much more attractive. All right, let's get into the fun part, which is external process automation. So I use this image here because this is where we get to take everything that we've built internally, which is that assembly line, that internal pipeline for production. And now we have this beautiful process and we get to invite the client in and give them that sports car experience. And quickly, I want to define client. I know there may be many different types of roles on this call, but client can be a traditional client. It could be a studio you're working with. It could be a financier. It could be a department you report to or an executive you report to. Anybody outside of your process or outside of your team. And this can also include this can also include freelancers, partners, other people that are outside of your team or organization that you need to collaborate with. But the exciting thing now is we get to deliver this incredible experience to them that is going to be memorable. And I include this quote. This is actually a Maya Angelou quote, but I think is very prescient for our industry. It's, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. And I think this is so true. If you deliver an amazing piece of work that the client loves, that came out great, but the process was a nightmare and they were tearing their hair out and they were stressed every step of the way, chances are they're not going to work with you again. But if you give them an incredible process that they remember as being extremely buttoned up, professional, thoughtful, they're going to remember that emotion and that memory of working with you, and they're going to keep coming back time and time again. So having these processes is a way to increase your revenue and grow your business. So let's talk about how Assemble enables you to bring those external collaborators in. You really have two options: review links and client dashboard. Review links are the easiest and simplest possible way. They are completely frictionless. It enables you to simply send them links of anything they need to access, and they can just click it and it just opens. So you need to send them a calendar, send them a link, they click, it opens. No login, no sign up. You need to send them an asset, gather feedback, send them a link, they click it, opens. Incredibly easy, incredibly straightforward. The other option is the client dashboard. And this is where you actually invite the client into your project and essentially give them the experience of a client dashboard where they can actually see the project coming to life visually and have that holistic view of how that project is coming together. So I'm going to show you how both of these look to the client view, but real quickly, just want to talk about the pros of each. So review links, the biggest pro is there's no login or sign up required. Once again, it's the most frictionless way to simply send things to your client and gather their feedback. They don't even need to know that they're using an additional project management tool. They don't even need to know that they're using Assemble. They simply click the link and it opens. There's zero learning curve and it integrates into their own tools. So you send them a calendar, they can sync it to Google Cal or Apple. If you send them a review link, they can quickly leave their feedback and then they can drop that into their Slack chat. They can drop it into their internal project management tools, all without ever even knowing that they're using Assemble. And you can also deliver them branded review pages. It's going to have their nice company logo, just a very nice branded experience for everything that you send to them. The other option is the client dashboard. And this is a great option. Once again, depends on your type of client. One thing I should have mentioned up front is you can decide this project by project. So depending on who the client is, how they feel, you can decide which of these options you want to go with. If there's someone that has a very strong internal process for their company, internal project management tools, review links is probably the best way to go. Just send them what they need to see and they can share it internally within their team. On the other hand, if there's somebody that is really hands-on, or maybe somebody that doesn't understand production and you really want to teach them step by step how a production is going to come to life, a client dashboard may be the better option. Additionally, from the client dashboard, the clients can also add files. So this is a benefit if you need to be gathering a lot of assets from them. Uh, Invite them into the client dashboard and they can upload those. They're also going to get a fully branded experience. So every single touch point from the login screens to the dashboard to the email notifications is going to be branded with your company logo. So it gives them a really nice branded experience. And then finally, you have very powerful user permission control. So you can control what they see and make sure that they only see what they need to see. So it's a nice, simple experience for them. So let's go ahead and jump in and I'm going to show you exactly what both of these look like. So we'll start with review links. Review links are very straightforward. So if I go into calendar, I've built out a calendar. Let's say I want to share this with my client now. I simply come up here, share review link, create that link, copy that and send it off to your client. So I'm going to open up an incognito window. So imagine I'm the client now. You sent me this in an email. I click it. it's going to simply just open up. There's not going to be any login, no email, no personal information required. I can just see the calendar right here. I can switch to the timeline view. It is a view only, so they're not going to be able to change anything. And then I can even come up here and sync this and just sync it to my Google, Apple, or Microsoft. So anytime it's updated, it's going to update in my personal calendar as well. Extremely easy way to share calendars. Additionally, the assets, documents, files, anything else you need to share works the exact same way. So let's say we want to send them an asset to gather feedback. Just come up here, share a review link, create that link, copy paste. And once again, we'll send that to our client. Imagine I'm the client. I click that link. As you can see, it just opens. Everything is nicely branded, has their logo. They come in here, click play. They can leave feedback. They can update the status, all without ever needing to enter an email or sign up for an account. So as mentioned, this is the easiest, most frictionless way to collaborate with your clients and really not require any additional steps from them in terms of signing up or entering their email for something. Let's go ahead and look at the client dashboard view. So now let's say we have a more hands-on client. We really want to show them that full experience of collaborating with us within this client dashboard. So within your project, you're going to see at the bottom, you have your workspace team. This is our imaginary production company, Block Films here. This is our internal team. But then down here, you have guest teams. And so guest teams, you can create and invite free guests into your project. So anybody you add to these teams, first of all, is going to be completely free. Don't ever have to worry about paying for them. But you can also control what they see and control their experience. So I'm going to go ahead and invite a fake user real quick. Let's just say we're inviting Sam here, who's going to be a guest. And what you can do before you invite them is you can decide what you want them to see. So within the folders, up here at the top, you can actually see which teams can see what folders, and you can decide to turn on or off these based on the teams. So, maybe we want them to see creative, casting, location, things of that nature, but maybe we're going to have some budget documents. We don't want them to see that. So I've gone ahead and turned that off. Additionally, you can get very granular with this. So maybe they can see the creative phase, but maybe we've got a internal creative folder here where we're going to, keep some stuff that the client doesn't need to see. Well, you can pop into that and just revoke their access from that specific folder. So really granular controls over what they can see. Additionally, on the calendar itself, we can decide what the client's going to be able to see in terms of the tasks on the calendar. So if we open up a task, you have visibility settings here, and you can actually decide to turn on or off certain teams to let them only see the things they need to see. So we can see here the client tab. If we click that, that's going to show us that client view of the calendar and what they're going to see when they log in. So really nice way to add layers to your calendar. So let's go ahead and take a look at what this looks like from the client perspective. First of all, I'm going to grab our unique login link so you can see exactly what they're going to see when they get invited. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and log out. First things first, when they get invited, they are going to receive an email invite. It's going to be branded with your company's logo, your company's name, and say you've been invited to join this project. When they click that link, they're going to be taken to a nice branded login page. Once again, you can see we have our company logo here. They can create an account and simply join your client dashboard. I already have an account, so I'm going to go ahead and, log in here. And first thing you're going to notice is they can only see the project you've invited them to. So this is going to enable you to collaborate with multiple clients all within the same workspace because they're only going to be able to see the project you invite them to. You don't have to worry about them seeing other projects you're working on. Also, this workspace is branded with your company's logo and company name. So it truly feels like a client dashboard. Let's go ahead and jump in. As the client view, we open up this project. And as you can see, it's much cleaner here on the side. We've removed some of these teams. We're only showing them the phases that they need to see. So it just gives them this nice, clean experience. If you recall, there was a budget folder here. They can't see that. We also had that internal creative folder in here, which they also can't see. But it really gives them this nice view where they can come in. They can view casting options, approve casts. They can approve locations. They can leave feedback on edits. And just give them this holistic experience from top to bottom. Let's also jump into that calendar. And as you're going to notice, they're only going to see that client view of the calendar. They don't need to see every single task. We just need them to know what's important. And we can also assign tasks to them as well if we need things specifically from them. So hopefully that gives you a good overview of your two options in terms of review links versus client dashboard. And so let's talk about some benefits of all of this and what this ultimately means to the bottom line. Number one, this enables you to manage your external collaborators better. So whether you're using the review links, number one, that's going to enable you to gather feedback and funnel that back into your projects rather than having feedback on emails or, you know, uh, even worse, text messages. Enables you to really control where the feedback goes and funnel it into the right places. If you invite those collaborators into that client dashboard, then you're really providing them a structure that enables you to manage them. So they know exactly where things need to go. If you're working with freelancers, you can only give them access to the folders where they need to be uploading things. Really enables you to manage them. And as we know, client management can be a nightmare. So this is a tool that enables you to take that internal process you've built and turn it into an external process that can enable you to manage those clients. Second, of course, is you deliver that amazing client experience. So as I said before, delivering that experience is going to leave them with a really good feeling about working with you. They're going to remember that process, and it's really going to give you a competitive advantage over your competitors. Your work may be great, but your competitors' work may be great as well. But if you have that process that the clients remember and they just was truly a joy working with you, they're going to choose you time and time again. And this, of course, will increase that recurring revenue, bring those clients back, create that repeatable revenue, and ultimately increase the value of your company. Recurring revenue, much more valuable than one-off revenue, and just gives you confidence as a business as you can just continue to see that roster of clients coming back time and time again. Gives you confidence to make those hires, grow the company, and become more profitable over time. So that wraps it up. Want to end here with a special offer solely for participants of this webinar. For new customers, if you're signing up for a new plan, we are offering 3 months free on an annual plan. All you need to do is go sign up at assemble.tv if you don't have an account already. Go to checkout, use the code JAN19, today's date at checkout, by midnight today to redeem, and you will get those 3 months entirely free. So from there, I'm going to go ahead and jump into Q&A. Please, anybody that has questions, feel free to drop them in the Q&A or the chat, and I will happily answer them. And I see we have one question from Mike. Can we get a copy of this presentation, or should I take diligent notes? Happily, we'll send over a PDF copy of the presentation. We'll also be uploading this to our YouTube channel. So if you want to share this with any teammates or replay it, keep an eye out for that being uploaded to our YouTube channel tomorrow. All right. Hang tight here. See if anybody else has any other questions. Thanks for your question, Alyssa. When a project is done, does the guest account open up for another? Uh, all guests are always free. So within any project, you get unlimited free guests. So you never have to worry about having seats for them or removing guests and adding others. Just know that anybody that you're inviting to those guest teams is always free, and you can invite as many as you want across all of your projects. Thank you for the question. Can you explain user accounts in more detail? Yeah, I'll give that a shot. I think I know what you're going for here, but please let me know if you want me to describe something else. But essentially, there are two types of user accounts. You have teammates. Teammates exist at the workspace level. They are members of the workspace as a whole, and those are paid users. They can use all the features within your workspace. They can start projects, use all the features. And those are typically your core team. So your coworkers, your permalancers, like people that you're working on every single project together with. The second type of user is free guests. Guests exist at the project level. So they cannot be invited to your overall workspace, but within any individual project, you can invite them in. You can invite them to multiple projects. And they will have capabilities within that project, a limited set of capabilities, but they can do quite a bit. They can upload files, download files, leave feedback, view the calendar. And this is great for clients, freelancers, anybody external to your organization that you want to bring in to collaborate. And once again, unlimited guests, and they are always free. Export for archive. Thanks for the question, Benjamin. We don't currently have a way to export this into some sort of like zip file to, export an entire project. However, you can archive the project within Assemble, which ultimately is potentially a better option because you're going to have everything stored and organized the way that it was within Assemble. You can reactivate it at any time. You can see all of the comments, the feedback, the documents. Um, and you can, of course, download any assets. So if you want to maybe download the big files, archive those locally, you can absolutely download those and then maybe just archive the stuff that, is not going to take up space, but will save all your important data on Assemble. And exporting production and pre-pro books, that is on the roadmap. We do want to eventually enable you to export a interactive pre-pro book that you can potentially send out to your client or anybody you need to send it to. So yeah, that is on the roadmap. And thank you for the question, Dan. Just reading through it here. So, would love to chat with you, Dan. If you're interested in chatting further, currently, we do all cloud-based storage. So, you're uploading your reviews into the cloud, collaborating, leaving feedback, and then you can download those and back those up on, your own server or different, maybe cheaper cloud-based options for long-term archival. Um, we are also launching a ton of integrations this year. One of the key ones we'll be launching is Zapier. Not sure if you're using Zapier, but that's going to enable you to essentially connect into thousands of different applications. But definitely, we would love to chat with you, learn more about your specific needs there, and we can chat about how we can create something that works for you. We don't currently, the question is, are there integrations with other project management software? We don't currently integrate with a Basecamp or an Asana because we ultimately would replace that if you're planning to use this as your core project management tool. If you're a part of a larger organization where maybe other departments are using different project management software and you want to integrate, that Zapier integration that is coming out soon is definitely going to be the fix for that. That will enable you to very easily connect this into any other project management tools that you want to work with and send those events or those apps through Zapier. Thanks for your question, Benjamin. Microsoft 360. We do have integration with Microsoft Outlook, so you're able to sync that calendar to Microsoft Outlook and get all of your tasks and events within Microsoft. Any other specific integration you're looking for there with Microsoft 360? I may have answered that with my last answer. OneDrive, yeah. Yeah, I think that Zapier integration is going to be the solution when that rolls out. Once again, that's going to allow you to sync any sort of actions or events that are happening within Assemble and sync those out to things like 360, OneDrive, or other tools you may be using. Yeah, no problem, Benjamin. Thank you. Cool. I'll hang out here for another minute or so, see if anybody else has any questions. And if not, we will wrap up. I'm going to pull up the coupon code again here in case anyone missed that. So anyone can take that down if you're interested in taking advantage of it. Thank you, Patrick. Appreciate you joining. And I think that about wraps it up. So in case anyone has any last second questions they want to get in, going to go ahead and wrap this up. So thank you everybody once again for joining. If you want to reach out, feel free to email me, nate@assemble.tv. Happy to chat further and answer any questions that you may have. All right. Thank you, everyone. Have a good day.